All right, shalom, shalom, boys. Here, spring is in the air, and I am looking forward to spring because this has been some dead season. But we are here getting after it. I've been able to organize pretty much the entire land. Everything that I needed to be organized, reorganized, supplies and stuff put back. Just making sure everything is organized because, it's a lot that you have to coordinate on a homestead. You have livestock, you have facilities for those, for that livestock. I mean, look at it, all of the lambs, they are mighty healthy. I mean, I am just very much pleased with this flock, and I'm seeing my two girls right here. That she gave birth to these two ewes right here, and then of course she just turned around and then gave birth, I believe, to that one right there. She had a single male this time around, but those are two females that she had during the last birthing cycle, and they're looking well. I mean, I'm just very much pleased with the coat. I'm very much pleased. I mean, I picked this one up. And he's about 25 pounds. That one's about 25 pounds right there. But they are looking very, very healthy. Every single one of them. I haven't had an issue at all. But because, we got plenty of hay, that we still got a lot put back. This is looking good in here. Nice and dry and stacked. But this is still pretty full. I was keeping them on these boards over here as well. But, it's a lot to coordinate on a homestead. Things that are going on in the house that, projects that's going on off the land. It's a lot to deal with. So, I really do thank the Father that the spring is here. And I can get into my spring projects and my summer projects. But, what I wanted to talk about in this video was, the increase in inflation. The price of goods and services going up because we've been giving out free money at 0% interest rates for pretty much 10 years now. And all this stimulus, all this free money is now catching up to us. It's now rearing its ugly head, and the sheep eating, but you got those in the back that just want to sit back and just watch everybody else eat. It's a sad thing to see what's going on with these prices and how it's affecting us. I mean, I got the report that fertilizer price because of what's going on over in Ukraine and Russia, that the prices of things like, oil is going up. And you got to understand that oil makes a lot of different products. People don't realize the importance of oil. They just think it as something that you put in your car. But no, that's not the case. There's thousands, and I mean thousands of products that you use on a daily basis, from your toothbrush to your deodorant to your cleaning supplies, the bottles, or all of the plastic. All that stuff is oil. All of that stuff is oil. Your toothpaste, oil. That's all oil. So you got to understand that not only will the price of oil go up, but the price of everything that is produced from oil, is a byproduct of oil, is going to increase as well. And that includes fertilizer. You see, and so, I was speaking to someone today, and he was talking about fertilizer prices and, and the price to produce, food. Because we clearly understand that on a mass scale, you cannot keep the hectares of land that we are growing food on. You can't do that without fertilizer. You just can't do it without fertilizer. And, we were talking about the blessing of being out in the country because, see, I don't buy fertilizer. I make fertilizer. I don't have to buy fertilizer. And anybody who's seen the videos, hey, the garden be banging every year. For the past, since I've been doing those raised beds, I have not done a fall garden. I mean, it's been so abundant from the spring. And we got so much food in the freezers that we've put back that we still got in how we just feast all year up or through the growing season on just fresh veggies, fresh kale, fresh collard greens, fresh zucchini, squash, fresh beans, fresh herbs. I can go on and on. Peppers, cucumbers. I mean, just fresh right out the garden. But the people that don't understand this, you're going to be paying serious at the pump, you're going to be paying serious at the pump. So how do I make my fertilizer? Well, I use what are the byproducts of the things that I use on the land that are produced as a direct result of them just existing. Sheep poop, sheep piss, sheep need hay, sheep need straw. I can acquire those resources, and the direct result is that the excess of that stuff I use in the raised beds because they're full of the piss and shit of the animals. So there goes my fertilizer right there through all the winter. The wood stoves are producing ash. That is another component of a healthy garden. And if you have these nutrients that you produce on the land yourself, because you're self-sufficient, those are your pH. That is your, those are your vitamins, your minerals that you can get relatively cheaply at no cost at all, depending on the source of the nutrients. You need your potassium, you need your phosphorus, you need your nitrogen. These things produce those nutrients. They produce those elements that's necessary to ensure that you get good, nice, ripe tomatoes, that you get good, healthy kale and collards and sweet potatoes and potatoes and herbs and, roses. You can produce all of these things, and you don't need fertilizer because you produce your own. You don't need the system because you produce your own. And being from out in the, you see, I've been out in the world. I've been, out there. I've been out there, so I know. But it is definitely a blessing to be able to produce for yourself and not have to depend on the system out there. I mean, I went and, was in Costco's, Sam's Club. And we were out there checking out the prices of beef and filet mignon and lamb. And let me tell you, man, they had little pieces for $5 a piece. You couldn't bid no more than them lamb chops. They were like this big. It was $5 for one of them. I mean, you eat that thing with 2 bites, but that's just the size of it. That's just a portion of it. But that's what they were selling it for, about $15. So, hey, and I know for a fact that this ain't been shot up with no snake, pus, and monkey venom. I know what's going into these. Drinking good, clean, fresh well water is just a blessing. I mean, and you just see the results. You see the results in the increase. And so, producing your own fertilizer raising your own meat. I mean, so these prices are relevant to you. Being able to hunt. I mean, just ain't got to drive off the land to put as many deer as I need. Yeah, you know, because that's a staple. This is what we eat. We eat what we grow. Know where to source chickens. I mean, it's just all here. There ain't nothing like waking up to the sound every morning of a rooster. But, you know, this is what it's about right here. It's about that self-sufficiency. And you see that they tearing it up. But, you know, all that excess that falls, I mean, and I know I could do a better job probably. But they get into it and they tear it up, man. You know, it's difficult. And I got this holder. I know there's better ones out there. But I put the big head bale in there and they stick their heads in there and they get after it. But there is a lot of waste. So the idea is that this is excellent as mulch for the raised beds. And, you know, I scoop it up in here, get the little lawnmower out here, put the little attachment, scoop it on out here, and put it right in the raised beds. And all that nutrient-rich material dissolves into the soil, becomes the soil, and transfers all of their, for the lack of a better term, piss and shit, which is, you know, has nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, you know, it has these elements in them. And that's why you supplement with other things that you can use, scraps, food scraps, you know, composting, and adding that to the soil. You know, taking the food, you know, we take the food, and I watched, you know, many videos on this from a guy out in Australia that does the hugelkultur, the raised beds, where you don't have to bend over. And you know, he'll take food scraps right from the garden, you know what I'm saying, and dig a hole right there in one of them raised beds, and boom, you know, whether it's fish or, you know, anything. And I've never had a problem with anything. I kid you not. I've never had a problem with putting organic waste right up in there. Because it's just good for the soil. It's gonna break down. In the fall, I throw a whole bunch of leaves up on there, you know, any cleanup, any grass clippings. When I'm clipping the grass, I'm putting it right in the raised beds. I got this rake, and I drive the riding lawnmower right next to that bad boy, and we load up, and I put that right in the raised beds. All of that stuff is good nitrogen, you know. I mean, good grass clippings is good. Droppings is good. All of this stuff. Wood ash is good. Eggshells is good. You know, things that you can buy locally at the store, whether it's, you know, stuff like Epsom salt or things like that. You can still buy that relatively in bulk now, and you can put that back. I mean, that's something that I would just always put back, is Epsom salt, because there's a multitude of uses for it. Not only from a element that your plants can thrive as a result of, but also taking a bath, and there's other uses for Epsom salt, of course. So you want to have plenty of that on hand. This is the name of the game. We have to be self-sufficient. We have to do, because there's an increase. This is a, you know, this is a healthy flock. You know, I mean, and it don't take much. But ahead of 30 right now, and then in another 6 months, they'll go ahead and drop them again. You know, it's like third generation, first generation. She gave birth to her. No, she gave birth to her, and she gave birth to them right there, and then she didn't turn around and gave birth to. I think that white one over there. So, you know, good old healthy meat, you know, and, you know, from a tax perspective, you know, it's like having a flock. It's like being able to guarantee pay your taxes, you know, on your land every year. I mean, think about it, Yeah, sell a couple of sheep, depending on where your property taxes, sell 3 or 4 sheep a year, there goes your property taxes right there. It ain't high, never high out in the country. So, hey, that's why, from the tax perspective, it's like living on free land. Even when you factor in the property taxes, it's nothing because, each ewe can produce 4 sheep every 5 months. They got a 5-month gestation cycle. So you do the math. If you got 10 ewes, what's that going to produce for you if they can produce 2 per every 5-month cycle? They got a 5-month cycle. You have a nice ram, and he takes care of them all. No issues whatsoever. Doesn't use, and he tends to them all. There's polygyny right there in the animal kingdom. It's right here. All I need is 1 ram. He can produce other rams, but all I need is 1 ram. You see? So this is how we go about producing our own fertilizer. This is how we go about making sure that we're not dependent on this wicked system as these prices continue to rise. I mean, out here, it really is, outside of gas, and that, I put that as a factor into business. But, it's inflation is minimized in my home. It's just, I try and make sure that it remains irrelevant. And that requires one to be very proactive and creative. Because, families are units that need things. And I am a man of patriarchy, and it's my responsibility to produce those things that are needed by this family. And ensuring that we are yoked to people that know how to use your resources wisely, man. My resources are used wisely because I don't have time to get all of the things that we need. That responsibility is delegated. So, I don't have to worry about those things. But the things that I am responsible for it all. But the thing that I take headship of, I ensure that I do what is needed to make sure that I'm producing the quality that is appreciative to be out on the market. And so that people, whether it's me consuming it, me giving it as an offering, because it's a beautiful thing to meet the biblical definition of an offering. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to be able to read that thing and be able to apply to its word, because that means that you're living a certain lifestyle that it is my belief is very pleasing unto Yah. So I'm gonna cut this short. This is why we're not worried about fertilizer, any of those other things. We're set apart, we're self-sufficient, and it's a blessing because a lot of people that they want to do it, they ain't got the heart to do it. Trying to do it, can't do it. This is why it's important to learn from somebody that has fruit, so that you can apply and that you can, it's nothing like being able to sit down with somebody that has done what you that is doing actively was done what you aspire to do. That's how I learned, and that's how you should learn too.